Patrick Swayze as Dalton. Dalton, the Zen bouncer with a philosophy degree and deadly hands, was brought to life by Patrick Swayze, born August 18, 1952. Then, Swayze was riding high from Dirty Dancing, and Roadhouse cemented his action hero status. Now, though he passed in 2009, Swayze remains an icon of cool, strength, and soul. Like and subscribe to honor a legend who could fight and philosophize in the same breath. Kelly Lynch as Dr. Elizabeth Doc Clay. Kelly Lynch, born January 31, 1959, played the compassionate and sharp Doc, Dalton's love interest and the town's moral compass. Then, she was more than eye candy. She challenged Dalton to let go of pain. Now, Lynch continues to act and advocate for independent film. Subscribe and like if Doc's fearless grace made her your favorite character in Jasper. Sam Elliott as Wade Garrett. Wade Garrett, the grizzled mentor with silver hair and raw charm, was perfectly cast with Sam Elliott, born August 9, 1944. Then, he brought wisdom and grit to every scene, stealing hearts while breaking bones. Now Elliot remains a cinematic icon, still captivating audiences with that unmistakable voice. Like and subscribe if Wade Garrett was the cooler you always wanted to be. Ben Gazara as Brad Wesley. Ben Gazara, born August 28, 1930, played Brad Wesley, the ruthless, smug tyrant of Jasper. Then, he was the ultimate small-town villain with big-time menace. Now, Gazara passed away in 2012, but his sinister charm still looms large. Subscribe and like if Wesley's arrogance made you root even harder for Dalton. Marshall R. Teague is Jimmy. Marshall R. Teague, born April 16, 1953, portrayed Jimmy, the sneering right-hand man who pushed Dalton to the edge. Then, he was the brutal enforcer, with one of the film's most unforgettable fight scenes. Now, Teague continues to work in film and TV, often playing intense, no-nonsense characters. Like and subscribe if you remember Jimmy's epic last line before the big splash. Julie Michaels as Denise. Julie Michaels, born July 20, 1970, lit up the screen as Denise, Brad Wesley's troubled girlfriend and a symbol of his control. Then, she made a strong impression with beauty, defiance, and vulnerability. Now, Julie is a respected stunt coordinator and actress, still kicking on screen and off. Subscribe and like to support the women who stole scenes with power and presence. Red West as Red Webster. Red West, born March 20, 1936, played Red, the local business owner who stood up to Wesley. Then, he gave the film a working-class soul and backbone. Now, Red passed away in 2017, remembered both for his acting and as Elvis Presley's close friend. Like and subscribe if Red Webster reminded you that courage isn't just for bouncers. Sunshine Parker as Emmett. Sunshine Parker, born June 10, 1927, played Emmett, Dalton's kind landlord and quiet voice of wisdom. Then, he brought warmth and humor to a town on the brink. Now, Parker passed in 1999, but Emmett remains a fan favorite for his heart and honesty. Subscribe and like if Emmett's humble strength gave Jasper it hope. Jeff Healey as Cody. Jeff Healey, born March 25, 1966, brought soul to Roadhouse as Cody, the blind blues guitarist who gave the double deuce its sound and heart. Then, Healey's electrifying performances added grit and authenticity to the bar's chaos. Now, though he passed in 2008, Healey's music still moves fans around the world. Like and subscribe to remember the man whose blues made the fight scene swing. Kevin Tighe as Frank Tillman. Kevin Tighe, born August 13, 1944, played Frank Tillman, the desperate owner of the Double Deuce who hires Dalton to clean up his bar. Then, he was the frustrated but hopeful businessman risking everything. Now, Tighe remains a veteran actor, seen in shows like Lost and Freaks and Geeks. Subscribe and like if Tillman reminded you that standing up starts with asking for help. John Doe as Pat McGurn. John Doe, born February 25, 1953, stepped in as Pat McGurn, Wesley's sleazy nephew and bartender at the Double Deuce. Then, he was the inside man helping chaos thrive. Now, the punk legend of the band X, Doe continues acting and rocking in equal measure. Like and subscribe if you love a good villain you're happy to see fired. Kathleen Willow as Carrie, and Kathleen Willow, born June 29, 1964, charmed as Carrie and the tough, sassy waitress with a golden heart. Then she added humor, friendship, and a dash of vulnerability to the rough bar scene. Now Willow acts, sings, and voices roles with the same passion and punch. Subscribe and like if Carrie and's loyalty made the Double Deuce feel like home. Travis McKenna as Jack. Travis McKenna, born May 27, 1964, played Jack, the hefty but good-natured bouncer at the Double Deuce. Then he was the muscle with heart, learning from Dalton and holding his own. Now McKenna has kept a lower profile, but remains a favorite of Roadhouse fans. Like and subscribe if you cheered for the big guy with a bigger sense of justice. Roger Hulet as Younger. Roger Hulet, born November 18, 1960, played Younger, a background figure in Wesley's crew. Then his silent stares and rough presence added tension to every barroom brawl. Now Hulet has appeared in various roles, known for playing gritty, grounded characters. Subscribe and like if you noticed even the quiet henchmen made this town feel dangerous. Kurt James Stefka as Carpus. Kurt James Stefka played Carpus, one of Wesley's goons with a mean streak and a love for trouble. Then his scowls and brawler attitude added fuel to every confrontation. Now, though not a household name, Stefka left his mark with raw energy and menace. Like and subscribe if Carpus reminded you that in Jasper, danger was never far away. Gary Hudson as Steve. Gary Hudson, born March 26, 1956, played Steve, the sleazy bouncer who's fired early by Dalton for inappropriate behavior. Then he gave us a perfect taste of what was wrong with the Double Deuce. Now, Hudson continues to act across TV and film, known for roles in Smallville and American Ninja. Like and subscribe if you cheered when Dalton cleaned house, starting with Steve. Terry Funk as Morgan. Legendary wrestler Terry Funk, born June 30, 1944, brought brute force to life as Morgan, the tough bouncer who worked for Wesley. Then, Funk's real-world wrestling rage made Morgan one of the most intimidating presences. Now, though he passed away in 2023, his legacy in wrestling and cult cinema lives strong. Subscribe and like to honor the hardcore legend who turned bar fights into battle royales. Michael Ryder as O'Connor. Michael Ryder played O'Connor, one of Wesley's right-hand men, always scheming and lurking in the shadows. Then he was a quiet but dangerous enforcer, loyal to the end. Now Ryder stepped away from the screen, but fans still remember O'Connor's cold stare. Like and subscribe if you think every villain crew needs a silent bruiser like O'Connor. John W. Young as Red Webster. John W. Young portrayed Red, the beloved auto parts store owner who refused to cave to Wesley's threats. Then, Red's courage made him a symbol of Jasper's resilience. Now, Young's legacy lives on through this heartfelt performance. Subscribe and like if Red reminded you that standing your ground makes you stronger. Anthony DeLonges as Gary Ketchum. Anthony DeLonges, born March 23, 1949, took on Gary Ketchum, one of Wesley's lethal henchmen. Then his skill with weapons and menacing calm made him a standout heavy. Now, DeLonges continues to thrive as a stunt coordinator and weapons expert in Hollywood. Like and subscribe if you respect the actors who make every swing and kick look real. Joe Unger as Pat McGurn's friend. Joe Unger, born May 25, 1949, had a small but memorable role as one of Pat's rowdy buddies. Then, his wild-eyed presence added to the early chaos in the Double Deuce. Now known for horror classics like A Nightmare on Elm Street, Unger remains a cult favorite. Subscribe and like if even the smallest roles in Roadhouse hit with full force. Tiny Ron as Mountain. Tiny Ron Taylor, born November 21, 1947, loomed large as Mountain, Wesley's towering enforcer. Then, his silent strength and massive frame made him unforgettable. Now, though he passed in 2019, his legacy lives in roles from The Rocketeer to Twin Peaks. Like and subscribe if Mountain made you nervous every time he stepped into frame. Sheila Ryan as Denise. Sheila Ryan, born June 8, 1952, played Denise, Wesley's girlfriend with a bruised spirit and a fierce sense of self. Then, she captured both the glamour and cost of living under a villain's thumb. Now, Sheila sadly passed in 2012, but her layered performance remains powerful. Subscribe and like to remember Denise, the woman caught between fear and freedom. John Paul Jones as Tinker. John Paul Jones delivered subtle menace as Tinker, one of Wesley's core henchmen, always lurking and watching. Then he was part of every shady deal and fight, the type who smiled while causing chaos. Now, little is known about Jones' current career, but Tinker lives on in every gritty rewatch. Like and subscribe if you spotted Tinker in every dirty deed around Jasper.